So, you're born. It's cold, wet, and miserable, and before you even have time to process what's happening, you're lying in a pile of mud. Not exactly the warm, welcoming entrance you'd hoped for. Your mom? She sniffs you, maybe gives you a quick nudge, then moves on like this is just another Tuesday. No hugs, no words of encouragement, just a silent, indifferent acknowledgement of your existence. You don't get a moment of rest. Something deep in your tiny, wobbly legs tells you that lying around isn't an option. You push yourself up, shivering and unsteady, and somehow you stand. Congratulations, you're a moose. And guess what? Your mom is already walking away. She doesn't slow down, doesn't look back, and definitely doesn't wait. Instinct tells you to follow her because, as far as you know, she's the only thing keeping you alive. Life isn't kind. It doesn't wait for you to adjust. You learn by doing, or more accurately, by messing up. Your mom doesn't sit you down and teach you the essentials of being a moose. She just does what she does. And if you don't figure it out, well, that's on you. You follow her, mimicking everything. Leaves, edible. Twigs, not great, but sure. Water plants, the best option. But they require you to shove your face into freezing water and hope for the best. There's no room for pickiness. You chew, swallow, and move on. Then one day, while you're busy munching on a bush, life decides to throw you a curveball. A bear, not watching from a distance, not sniffing around. No, this one is already mid-swing. A massive paw coming straight for your head. You freeze. Every muscle in your body locks up. Running doesn't occur to you. Fighting isn't an option. You just stand there, fully convinced this is how it ends. And then, bam! Your mom crashes into the bear like a wrecking ball. It's not graceful. It's not some heroic slow-motion movie moment. It's violent and brutal. The bear stumbles, then regains its footing. It's not giving up. It swipes, bites, and lunges at your mom. And you just stand there, watching as she fights for both your lives. Eventually, the bear decides you're not worth the trouble. It slinks back into the bushes, disappearing like a nightmare fading after waking up. Your mom, breathing heavy, gives the ground a few more angry stomps just to be sure. Then she turns to you. And if looks would talk, hers would say, "Why didn't you run, you idiot?" But she doesn't dwell on it. She just goes back to eating. You follow, legs shaking for the first time, realizing that out here, you're not just living, you're prey. By summer, things are better, or at least you think they are. You got the basics down. You stick close to your mom, eat whatever she eats, and avoid anything with sharp teeth. But then you get introduced to marsh foraging. Sounds fancy, right? It's not. It's just another way of saying, walk into knee-deep mud, shove your face into freezing water, and hope you don't drown. Your mom makes it look easy. She walks right in, dunks her head, and resurfaces with a mouthful of slimy green stuff like it's gourmet dining. You try, you fail, water fills your nose, mud clings to your face, and for a second you consider just giving up on food altogether. But hunger wins, and after a few miserable attempts, you manage to grab something that looks and tastes questionable. Congratulations, you're officially not starving. But summer isn't all about food, it also comes with new problems. Bugs swarm your face every time you stop moving. Fish nibbles at your legs when you wade through water. And the heat is unbearable. You're stuck in a full-body fur coat, sweating like crazy, while your mom acts like none of this is a big deal. She's too busy scanning for predators, always on edge. You stay close, figuring if she's still alive. She must know what she's doing. Then comes fall, and suddenly the forest turns into a moose-themed soap opera. Massive bulls with antlers the size of tree branches start showing up, stomping around like they own the place. Your mom avoids them, but you're stuck following her through the chaos. And the bulls? They don't just grunt, they fight. One minute you're chewing on some leaves, and the next, two giant moose are slamming their antlers together, shaking the ground like a mini earthquake. Your mom doesn't care. She just keeps walking, ignoring the drama like it's background noise. Sometimes the bulls get a little too interested in your mom. When one gets too close, she charges, snorting like she's had enough of his nonsense. He stumbles back, rethinks his choices, and moves on. You're left standing there, wondering why everything suddenly feels so dramatic. And then, winter. If summer was annoying, winter is just plain cruel. The lush green forest you spent all summer chewing on, gone. Now everything is a frozen wasteland. Every meal is a struggle. Food is buried under layers of snow and ice, and digging it out costs more energy than it gives. You spend your days following your mom, scraping at the snow, desperately searching for twigs or anything even remotely edible. and you're always hungry. The cold doesn't let up. Sure, your fur thickens, but it's like wearing a sweater in a blizzard. Better than nothing, but nowhere near enough. You sleep in the snow because, well, where else would you go? You curl up into a ball, praying you don't freeze solid overnight. Every morning, you wake up covered in frost, shake it off, and repeat the process. Cold, hungry, exhausted. And here's the real kicker. You're a male moose, which means that just surviving winter isn't enough. You also have to grow. The bulls you saw in the fall, the ones smashing antlers like medieval warriors, that's your future. And right now your future looks bleak. You're supposed to be eating enough to grow stronger, to one day fight for your own territory. Instead, you're chewing on frozen bark and wondering if today is the day you collapse from exhaustion. Predators don't stop for winter either. Wolves are always watching, waiting for you to screw up. They stalk the forests, looking for the weakest moose in the herd. You do your best to keep moving, to look strong. But when your stomach is empty and your legs feel like lead, running away doesn't seem very doable. Then one day, just when you think things couldn't get worse, your mom leaves. Not because you're ready, not because you've suddenly become a strong, independent moose. Oh no, she leaves because she's having another baby. And you're no longer part of the plan. You followed her, confused, but she doesn't stop. She disappeared into the trees, and that's when it hits you. She's not coming back. You've been replaced. You stand there, waiting, hoping she'll change her mind. She doesn't. Happy birthday! You're on your own now. But survival isn't the only thing that makes being a moose so miserable. Even when you think you've made it, that you've beaten the odds and carved out a place for yourself, nature has a way of reminding you that you're still just a walking target. It's never over. And even if you somehow dodge the predators, escape the hunters, and tough out the brutal winters, there's another problem lurking in the woods, waiting for you to make one wrong step. Ice. It sounds harmless, right? Just frozen water. But when you weigh over 1,000 pounds and take one bad step on a frozen river or a weak patch of ice, and that's it. No do-overs. You slip, your legs spread too far apart, and suddenly you're stuck, flailing like a helpless calf again. You try to get up, but your hooves have nothing to grip. The more you struggle, the more exhausted you get, until finally you don't have the strength to move. If you're lucky, someone might find you. If not, you freeze right there, lying on the ice, waiting for either the cold or a hungry predator to finish the job. But that's not even the worst part about ice. The real nightmare is when you fall through it. You're just walking along, minding your own business, when suddenly the ground beneath you cracks, and in the blink of an eye, you're submerged in freezing water. Your body goes into shock. Your fur, which was supposed to keep you warm, it's now waterlogged and dragging you down. You try to swim, but your hooves aren't built for that. If you can't find a way out, if the ice is too thick to break, or you're too exhausted to pull yourself back onto solid ground, you don't stand a chance. One last frantic struggle, and then the cold claims you. And even when the ice melts, nature doesn't cut you any slack, because now it's spring. And you'd think that would mean things are finally getting easier, but no, it just means a whole new set of problems. Now the snow has turned into deep, sticky mud, and every step feels like wading through quicksand. The rivers are swollen with melted ice, rushing dangerously fast, and if you misjudge the current, it'll sweep you away like a twig. You're constantly wet, constantly tired, and constantly on edge. Then comes the flies. If you thought the mosquitoes in summer were bad, just wait until you meet the swarms of blood-sucking flies that follow you everywhere. They don't just bite. They latch onto you, burrowing into your fur, finding any weak spots they can to suck your blood until you're left itching and bleeding. There's no escape. You can wade into the water, but they'll just wait for you to come back out. You can shake, you can run, but they always come back. Some moose don't even make it through the summer. Not because of predators, not because of starvation, but because the sheer stress of dealing with thousands of flies slowly drains them of energy until they collapse. And speaking of things that drain you, let's talk about another nightmare. Brain worms. That's right. Parasites that crawl into your brain and slowly turn you into a walking zombie. You start acting strange, wandering in circles, losing your balance, forgetting how to eat. You're not even aware that something's wrong until your legs stop working, and you collapse in the middle of the forest, confused and helpless. And because nature has a cruel sense of humor, brain worms don't even kill you quickly. You just waste away, growing weaker by the day, until eventually something finds you. Usually a scavenger, or, if you're unlucky, something that isn't willing to wait until you're fully gone. But let's say you dodge all of that. The predators, the starvation, the ice, the hunters, the parasites. Let's say you manage to live long enough to become an old bull, a true king of the forest. You'd think that after years of fighting, running, and barely scraping by, you'd get to enjoy a peaceful retirement, right? Wrong. Because the moment you start slowing down, nature decides you're no longer useful. You can't fight off younger bulls anymore, so you lose your harem. You can't outrun the wolves, so they start hunting you more aggressively. And even if you somehow stay strong, your body betrays you. Your teeth wear down to useless nubs, making it harder and harder to chew food. Your joints ache from years of carrying that massive body through deep snow and thick mud. And worst of all, your antlers, your one advantage in the brutal world of the rut, they don't grow back as strong as they used to. One bad winter, one unlucky fight, and that's it. You're done. If the cold doesn't get you, starvation will. If starvation doesn't, the wolves will. And if by some miracle you manage to limp your way into another spring, you'll still be living on borrowed time, waiting for the moment when nature finally decides it's hard enough for you. And even then, you don't get to rest, because when you finally collapse, when you take that last breath and close your eyes, the forest doesn't mourn you. The ground doesn't care. Within hours, the scavengers arrive. Crows, ravens, foxes, and even bears. They pick apart your body piece by piece, turning what was once a powerful bull moose into just another part of the cycle. By the time the sun rises again, there's almost nothing left. Your story ends not with a grand send-off, not with a peaceful farewell, but with the quiet, brutal indifference of nature. And the world moves on, just as it always has. So yeah, being a moose, it's not just tough, it's a never-ending battle. A life spent running, fighting, freezing, and starving, all for the slim chance of making it through one more season. And just when you think you've made it, just when you think you've earned a little peace, something out there is always waiting to remind you. Life doesn't care how hard it's been. It just keeps on going, with or without you. Life as a moose might be tough, but there's another animal out there that has it even harder. What animal do you want to hear about in our next video? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.